She's worked with some of the biggest names in Hollywood to keep the spark alive in their marriages, but for Michaela Boehm, it's just another day in the office. When it comes to relationships, it turns out the stars are just like the rest of us. From Gwenyth Paltrow to Will Smith, dealing with everything from blended families to communication issues.
I think that's the worst I've ever felt in our marriage. I was failing miserably. But on the outside, I was winning.
One woman has helped these couples overcome their marital woes and get their love lives back on track. Michaela Boehm is the intimacy coach to the stars.
And we are delighted to say Michaela joins us now from Hollywood. Hello, Michaela. How did you come to coach A-listers like Gwyneth Paltrow and Will Smith in improving their relationships?
You know, I've done over 40,000 one-on-one client hours. And so in Hollywood, when you do that many hours, you kind of get a lot of word of mouth. And so one thing led to another. And so by now I have an entire roster of celebrity clients and also lots of completely normal people.
Michaela, I have a question for you. What exactly does an intimacy coach do?
Well, intimacy coach is just one way to describe what I do. I essentially combine very, very practical kind of road-tested advice that I've gained over, these many years with an understanding on how body-to-body and mind-to-mind intimacy works. So I can actually work with somebody, determine exactly what they need so their relationship works, and then give in the body tips for that. And so a lot of what I do has to do with moving the body and being body to body and learning how to actually engage the part of us that becomes really intimate, which is the body, involved and not just up in the head.
Okay.
Gwyneth Paltrow is one of your clients, and she's hit headlines very recently for revealing that she and her husband are only just moving in together after a year of marriage. And you're in favour of this?
It depends. It's not a general thing. It's very nuanced. You have to look at how good is the relationship and do you want to keep the spark alive? And when you do want to keep the spark alive, then spending some time apart is really useful because familiarity and kind of commonality is a bit of an enemy of the hotness, the kind of sexual hotness. But of course, if you don't spend enough time together because you're always apart, then you shouldn't spend more time together. So it's not a one-size-fits-all approach, but it can be really useful, particularly if you're blending a family and particularly also when you've had a life already. It's not that easy to fold in with somebody when you're in your mid-30s or mid-40s.
You've also worked with Will Smith and I assume his wife Jada for a couple of years. They've had some challenges. They've been pretty open about that. What was it like working with them?
Oh, I can't say anything about that.
Come on.
Would be totally breaking confidentiality. No.
Can you confirm you've worked with them?
Yes, that I can confirm because Will has, but I won't say anything about that because they deserve as much privacy as anyone else when it comes to love life and how it goes.
Yeah, you're right. You're a professional. And Will actually gave you in your book, The Wild Woman's Way, a shout out on social media. Let's have a look.
Disappeared for a couple years. I wasn't making movies and stuff. I was, getting my education together. And this woman was a big part of my education and expansion. She is a scholar and a friend, and this is her first book. It's called The Wild Woman's Way. I just got it. It's Michaela Boehm. She is the truth.
There you go.
There you go. That's a shout out. That must have been nice.
Yes.
You can't pay for that sort of publicity, Michaela. Hey, listen, finally, for people wanting to work on their relationships and, rekindle the romance, what is a good bit of advice? What's our takeout from you today?
Well, there's a few things anyone can do. And one of the things is to make sure that you spend a little bit of time apart before you come together for something, romantic or erotic, so that it's a fresh moment. And also, cultivating interests outside of the relationship makes the person more interesting in the relationship. Then, of course, a big one is spending time together away from distractions. So turning the phone off, so important. And then actually engaging body to body, eye contact, physical contact, hugging, touching, doing things that actually allow people to feel with whom they are. And
Michaela, I
that's
love that last
probably
one.
important.
I love that
Yes.
last one there, stop random touching. And I would also say
Yes.
stop touching randoms would probably be helpful as well.
That would be very helpful
Yeah.
too. Yes.
Thank you very much for joining us this morning. For more information about Michaela's work, you can head to michaelaboehm.com.